do I feel good today? Sort of. Excuse me. Welcome, everybody, into your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. I am your host, the coach. Over the course of the next 60 minutes, live on Stadium, wherever you find Stadium, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, Roku TV, the Stadium app, you will find us every single day live at 10 a.m. And then we replay in the afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Now, if you're new to our brand, we take you through everything. Yes, it is Football Friday, no doubt. But when you have two championship series, you're going to put baseball in as well. Now, if you watch Primetime Live last night, literally everything we said happened in that football game. I told you Alvin Kamara wouldn't even come close. 25 total yards, and we hit the under 106.5. Let's go ahead and take a look at how we did yesterday as far as the crew is concerned. Charles, nice little 4-2 day. How about AB? Strong 4 out of 5. Your boy hit all 2. Raphael hit 4 and 2. So, I mean, we were solid across the board. We are a crew for a reason. Now, we have a ton of content, and I'm talking a ton of content. Here is our schedule. Take a screenshot of that. The easiest thing to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications. Every single time we start any content, you will be notified, including our fresh content every day. About 20 to 30 minutes of fresh DTL, the podcast. Audio drops around 2 p.m. Eastern time. The video, for all of you crew premium members, you get it for free. Now, AB, I don't want to hype it too much, but I think last night we saw one of the greatest baseball games and finishes we've ever seen in Cleveland. It was amazing.
It was amazing. First off, good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Yeah, man, because once Judge hit that bomb, Stanton hits a bomb, you're thinking it's over. It's done.
Over.
And Cleveland comes right back. It was fantastic, man. It's fantastic. And what about last night? The NFL, both teams dropped the easiest interception ever. Like, we should have been 5 for 5. And then Rattler, that interception that it's called a fumble, and it was a pick 6. Like, I was like, that's the one that we lose. The interceptions, like, it was nuts, man.
Well, the one that Rattler early in the game, I mean, literally, you and I could have caught it. It was right here. I don't even know how. And then the Saints guy almost catches it. But, oh, yeah, and I thought I was going to lose my passing yard total. He was at 172, and they get the ball back after that play you're talking about, and he hurts his hip, and they take him out of the game. I was like, hey, I don't care how we cash. I just care that we cash. Yeah. And hopefully he's okay. Howie Schwab always looking down, especially on the big weekends. What is the crew play of the day selections today, AB?
All right. 2 games, 4 options here. Dodgers money line, Mets money line. Yankees money line, Guardians money line. Simple, to the point. All right, polls in the chat. Vote now. We'll update as we always do at the end of the show.
How about Adam in the chat? Nice little nugget. It was 20 years to the day that the Red Sox had the miracle comeback against the Yankees in 2004. Amazing. Wow.
Well,
maybe the
greatest baseball series I've actually might be the greatest sports series I've ever seen in my life. Like, down 3-0 to the Yankees.
Bitter rivals.
David Ortiz went nuts. Like, you couldn't pitch to him.
Yeah.
Couldn't pitch to him.
I was on the board of his charity for about 4 years. And when he went through that stretch, and then when he retired, he literally, when I would be around him, it was like he was walking on water. It's like he could do no wrong after that happened, and immediately after he retired. So he's a really good dude. I really like David Ortiz. I really do.
I mean, he the dude was a god. Like, he could do no wrong. And then it was like after that series, they went to the World Series to face the Cardinals, and it was like, poor St. Louis. Like, you're gonna get ran over, and it was 4-0 sweep. Like, just went through him like a train.
It happens. Momentum is a real thing. All right, AB, we got a lot to get to today, buddy. A lot to get to. We got to look forward to college football. We got to look forward to NFL. 4 college football games today, 2 baseball games today. So we got 2 of our absolute very best standing by. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, and hit that like button on your way in for the picks. All right, he's not on the show today, but I believe he's in the chat. Any questions for Raphael, put them in there, and he will try to answer them for you in real time. Now, this man last night went 4-2, so he has earned the first 15 seconds. And Charles also, I am ready after a 2-week break. The 5-pack after the bottom of the hour is back today. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach Crew. Yeah, a little hiatus. We get back to form with the old Friday 5-pack. So yeah, not a bad day for a jabroni. I'll say a little 4-2.
Now, this man has the best beard in the game. And Soupy, when 2-2 is our worst play of the day, that's a pretty good day. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, but you also had to get in my feelings. You had to talk about the Yankees losing last night. Then you had to remind me of the Yankees in 2004. I feel like I just took a loss at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'm just here. I'm just a conduit. I'm just the man that puts it out there. I
You've
am.
won enough. All right.
All right.
I haven't been to a parade since college. Come on. I need to go.
We will get to the baseball in about 4 minutes, but we're going to dive right into the picks for today. Kind of a light day picks, but a lot of information. AB, if you don't mind, how about you start us off?
Yes, sir. We're going to go right to Major League Baseball tonight. Dodgers Mets over 7 -110. Now, this morning we have seen some movement. So if you have over 7.5, I'll ride that with you. Consider that 7 and 7.5 if you can't get it. But if you can get 7, grab it while you can. We're also going to go tonight, Fresno State, Nevada over 49.5. Fresno State's got to get their act together, okay? Derek Carr ain't walking through that door. Neither is Devontae Adams. And Nevada, they've been playing good football, man. And John Nichols in the chat says, yeah, Dalton Connect, he's legit for the Lakers. I'm telling you, out of Tennessee, the guy can play. But, yeah, we're going with those two tonight, man. Baseball, college football. Let's go.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Dalton Connect at the break coming up in about 8 minutes. For those of you guys watching on YouTube, you'll get that discussion in about 8 minutes. He was great last night. All right, Soupy, let me come over to you. You also have 2 big plays on the college gridiron this weekend. You're up.
Miami and Louisville, they have been playing a lot of shootouts lately, and that's because they can score, but they give up a lot of points, especially the explosive plays. That's 20 yards or more. Both have allowed 3 or more against Power 4 teams each of those games. We're going to see a lot of points. I love Cam Ward. He's obviously a Heisman favorite. Tyler Shuck, he's 22nd in passing yards this season. Both, let's start it off big time, over 29.5. And one of the biggest games, Texas, Georgia. Kirby Smart has said that Texas is what Georgia was in 2021. They can beat you on offense, on defense, every single facet, because Georgia isn't that team anymore. They're actually 20th in points allowed. But when you used to be the greatest defense in college football history, that's not good. They also don't have a run game. Trevor Etienne, Travis's brother, he hasn't had 100-yard rushes. He hasn't had one in over a year. It's going to rely on Carson Beck. And when you're one-dimensional against Texas, it's not going to work. I got them winning and covering at -5.
Ewers is scheduled to come back, and then you got a backup in Manning that would start for every other university in America. Texas, number 1, they are stacked. Now, if you're going to cash with the coach, I've been pretty hot so far this week. I would recommend you roll with me. Now, Duke, why do I play a -148 and take the points out of it? Because Duke is 5-1. Last week, they lost to Georgia Tech, their only loss of the season. Georgia Tech also beat Florida State. Florida State has 1 win this year. They're 1-5. They are terrible. They lost by 16 a week ago. They lost by 26 the week before that on the road. They haven't won all year. Give me Duke on the money line. Then the other play I like tonight, Miami. No, not Miami. Oregon team total over 44.5. Why is it so important to get that 44.5? Because I like 45. I had a vision, and I think 45 is what Oregon plays. Purdue, oh, let me check my notes. They've given up 66, 38, 52, 50 all this season, and they are hosting an Oregon team coming off a huge win over Ohio State. They are rolling, and they will put the gas pedal down tonight. Take that team total over 44.5. Now, let's shift gears quickly into baseball tonight. Now, when it's 2-3-2, you get games in a row, which I absolutely love. Now, game number 1 is what there, Mr. Producer Man? Well, I think it's the Dodgers and the Mets. You're darn right. And the Dodgers, AB, at -135. They have come to New York the first 2 games, and they have said, we are the best team. Last night, the over comes in. They win 10-2. Ohtani on base 4 times. Mookie Betts 4 hits. I think this team tonight, if I was playing this, and I know that you are, I think the series is over.
Could be. I mean, look, the Mets, they can get hot, and they can hit with anybody. I think them backs against the wall you're going to see runs. But the Dodgers, they're dangerous when they're comfortable. Like the Dodgers are the true essence of Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like when they're relaxed, chill, it's trouble. It's trouble because Ohtani can go yard. Mookie's hitting with everybody. Max Muncy, was getting on base, I think, 12 straight times before he struck out last night. This team's just feeling it, man. So I think it's going to be a good game. But, yeah, that's why I love runs tonight. Love runs tonight.
Yeah, and the longer you go in a series, a lot of the time, Soupy, like AB said, it is the teams start to relax and they start to hit. And when you get relaxed, you score runs. And when you get in a game like this where everything backs against the wall, you can't afford to play like you are going to just tighten up. So I love the over, especially at this number. But also, Ohtani seems to be the one piece the Dodgers have been missing. And look, they're on the brink of a World Series, Soupy.
Plus, they got Jack Flaherty going tonight. He went 7 scoreless in game 1. This is what they got him for, to pitch these type of games. He is a absolute beast with a rotation that's hurt. Glasnow's not coming back. Kershaw's not coming back. They're going to need to rely on Flaherty. I think he has another long day, at least 6 innings, and I do think the Dodgers clinch it tonight.
Charles, what do you think the Mets need to do in order to keep this series going?
Well, I get to Flaherty for sure, but I kind of like the Mets in this spot. I think they take it back for a game 6. And then one thing we've seen as a constant is runs. So it's like I said, it's the if it's not broke, don't fix it series. So I definitely think we see some runs. I think the Mets take this game and we go back to La La Land for game 6.
All right, so that's the analysis on game 5 of the NLCS. Let's switch it over now to game 4 of the ALCS. And last night, I don't know what the odds would be on this, but if you missed it, damn it, you missed one of the greatest innings literally in the history of baseball. There was a double play bottom of the ninth, 5-3. All they got to do is get one more out. There's a double. Oh, the announcer was like, it doesn't matter. It's his runner on first, and then a guy named Noel steps up and hits one to the moon, AB. They go to extra innings, and then David Fry in extra innings hits one to the moon, and they went 7-5. It was amazing, and now the Guardians, from the brink of elimination, they now all of a sudden have the momentum, but yet the Yankees still favorite tonight.
They do. This is a game where you got to keep that momentum. And you're right. Noel, dude, as soon as he hit it, he threw it out of the bat, dude. He hit a missile to left field. Man, I can't wait for it. Baseball's been awesome in the championship series on both sides. Yeah. You're going to have to stop the Yankees. Like, you're going to have to stop the Yankees. They keep coming. But if we see that energy out of Cleveland tonight, I mean, just bet the over. It's going to be another fun one.
It kind of feels that way, Soupy, doesn't it? That now that Stanton's getting hot and Judge is hitting a little bit and they've moved guys around, that the Yankees haven't figured out. But the Guardians, it's the first game this entire postseason. It felt like they really got the bats going as well.
Yeah, the bats haven't been doing too well. They've been leaving a lot of runners on base. A couple of times, bases loaded situations, they couldn't do anything. Luke Weaver has been going multiple out saves that kind of bit the Yankees last night. And then Clay Holmes, Yankee fans know the frustration of Clay Holmes. When he has to pitch in a clutch situation, he can't do it. He didn't do it last night. Luis Gil's going. He needs to get a solid 6 innings, try to give that bullpen some rest. Hopefully, they can go up 3-2. If not, the Yankees are still going to go to Yankee Stadium, so at least they can be confident there.
All right, very good. Charles, I got about 15 seconds. Your thoughts on this game?
I like the Guardians in this spot to force a game for a game 5 going 2-2.
I think you're exactly right. I just have this feeling the Guardians after last night. When you talk about momentum in baseball, it's everything. You got the home field, you got the home crowd, you got all of that. So 2 games tonight, 5:08 p.m. Eastern time, the Dodgers and the Mets. And then you got 8:08 p.m. Eastern time, the Yankees and the Guardians as they kind of flip-flop. All right, we're just getting started on a Football Friday on Stadium. Still to come, we've got a full NFL preview, 3 biggest games, and there are some big ones this weekend. And also a huge game in college football as well. Woo! Just getting started. Settle in. It's going to be a lot of fun the next 48 hours. It's DTL in the morning live on Stadium. All right, all of you degenerates, OGs out there who watch on our YouTube channel, thank you very much. And AB, the guy last night from Tennessee, the rookie that you've told us is going to be great in a preseason game against the Suns, scores the final 20 points of the game for the Lakers. They win, and he looked like he was a seasoned vet last night. I'm really excited for this kid.
Dalton Connect is awesome. Look, and let me tell you, man, I mean, you're talking about the SEC Player of the Year, and he transferred into Tennessee, and here's why you're going to love him, okay? Everyone who's all over Bronny James, and I'm going to get my son, listen to this. Dalton Connect came to Tennessee specifically because he wanted to get better defensively, and his dad called him soft, even though he wasn't at all. So he went to Rick Barnes and said, I want you to whoop my son's ass and teach him how to play real defense. And that's exactly what he did. This kid's tough as nails. He's a great kid. He's everything that the Lakers are going to get out of a first-round pick. You're going to love Dalton Connect. He's awesome, man.
And he's just been overshadowed, Soupy, by Bronny James. Nobody's talking about this kid. Everybody's talking about Bronny, but this kid looks like the truth.
He looked great last night. They need these younger guys to just kind of contribute because this team, it's LeBron James, it's Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and there's not much else but them. If they could get this rookie going early on, they could slightly be a better team than what we thought. Maybe 40 wins, 45.
How sad is it, Charlie, that we think that's a good season at 40 or 45? But Soupy's right. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, they'll be lucky to get into the play-in. I think that's what they're pretty much striving for. That's the Lakers as we know them. While LeBron's there anyway, but yeah, Dalton Connect, he's something else, man. I'm glad to see it. Now it's going to force JJ Redick to make decisions to give him more minutes. So I'll be interested to see what his role is going to be on this team once the regular season starts.
It's going to be start and play 40 minutes a game. That's what his role is going to be. They have nobody. They got no new players. They got no new studs. They got no new veterans. Nobody wanted to come play with LeBron James. Period. End of story. Full stop. And tell you what, by the way, if you guys watch that new series on Netflix, you know they had the wide receivers. Now they're having the NBA guys. It's the worst one. It's the worst one of all of them. It's not good at all. I hate it. But go ahead and watch it. It's worth something. All right, we're back on Stadium in just 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is Stadium in the morning. Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, Roku TV, watchstadium.com, or the Stadium app. You will find the DTL crew leading the charge every single morning live at 10 a.m. and also repeated at 4 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon. AB, I got to start with you because we've got a big-time slate in the NFL this weekend. And last week, when you talk about dominant wins, the Lions, 47 points. They scored 42 the week before that. But now the Minnesota Vikings, the only undefeated team left in the NFC, they are favored, -1.5. Aiden Hutchinson, he had surgery. He'll be out for the season, maybe even next season. We don't know. But this team right now, how do they emotionally get back? Because I think that's the only reason that they are still an underdog this week.
I do too, and I think that they'll be fine with that, right? Like, injuries happen in the NFL, and we're not downplaying it. We're not doing that at all. You just have to have a 24-hour mindset with everything. And if there's any coach in the NFL in a locker room that can get their players the right mindset, it's Dan Campbell, right? He can handle that. And Hutch will handle that too. Like, he'll be one of those guys that is around and saying, fellas, keep going. Keep going. I'm here with you. Keep going, right? It's wild to see the Lions as an underdog, but that's how good Minnesota's been, man. That's going to be a fun game.
I know it is, but Soupy, even if people say, well, they lost their best defensive player, it's been their offense that has won these games the last couple of weeks. And Jared Goff is playing like an all-pro. He's playing like an MVP. Everybody around him knows exactly what they should be doing for this offense. I would take the Lions even if they were favored by 1 and 2. I think this one's about 3 points off.
I would say that too. It's going to be a great game. I love the Vikings. I've been saying it. I love both their lines. And at the line of scrimmage, that's where you win these games. When you dominate that part of the field, you win. I like the Vikings even better. I think it's going to take time for the Lions to adjust without Aiden Hutchinson. He was more important to that defense than Jared Goff is to that offense because now they have to adjust so much because those other guys now are going to get double teamed, and that's going to have an impact even on the secondary. I think the Vikings stay undefeated this week.
The TJ says Vikings defense coach is a different kind of dog. That might be true, TJ. And Charles, on both sides of the football, also, they've got 2 of the featured wide receivers in the other Netflix, the receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he got his bag. Justin Jefferson, he got his bag. And now Jamar Chase feels like he needs to get more than Justin Jefferson. So all these high-paid wide receivers coming in Sunday. I can't wait to see the whole damn thing.
Oh yeah, and then we should see a shootout between the Vikings and Lions. That's what I really like is points here. But if I had to take a side, I would go with the Vikings, and I love their team total. And I think they're going to take away the run, and they're going to force Goff to have to pass. So I think he could serve up an interception or two. But yeah, I think we're going to see plenty of passing indoors. So yeah, love the total in this one. And if I had to take a side, Vikings, and like I said, I love their team total also.
All right, very good. Let's go to featured game number 2. And AB, Raphael gave us a stat this week that this is the best start at this point of a season for any division in the history of football. 17-5 is the NFC North. All 4 teams have at least 4 wins, including the Green Bay Packers. And they survived missing a couple of games with Jordan Love because your boy came in, Malik Willis, and played pretty good. Now they've got an AFC playoff team coming to town. CJ Stroud playing a very high level. This one is 3. That means basically on a neutral side, it would be even. Total of 47.5. Do the Packers continue this good play?
The Packers will, absolutely. The Texans will as well, because they're both balanced. They can run the football, they can throw the football. Now, the interesting part to watch in this one is that the Packers statistically are the best defense in the NFL in terms of creating interceptions. They also throw a lot of interceptions with Jordan Love, but so does Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, it happens in the NFL. That being said, this is going to be a really fun game. I love the over in this one. They have good defenses, but it's the offenses that get this thing going. I love over 47.5 between these two.
Yeah, that's kind of where my eyes were going too, Soupy, because the Packers love to play these over games almost every game this year. Jordan Love is starting to turn into a guy that I think could be an MVP in the next 3 to 4 years. And they've got really good kickers that kick really long field goals that could add 3 to 6 points to this one. So I would also lean to the over. What about you?
What you mentioned about the kickers, that plays the most important part because that shortens the field for each offense. They don't need to get to the opponent's 30. They could get there at the 35 or 40 and still come away with 3. I agree. Both defenses are very good. Xavier McKinney has been a great signing for that Packers defense. He's had an interception in, I believe, five games this year. But both offenses are rolling. Even the Texans without Nico Collins, I think we're going to see another offensive game. I would take north of 50.
Would you make that 4 for 4, Charles? We all agree. Points. Let's forget about the spread.
No, make that 3-1. I think we're going to see a lower scoring defensive battle. I like the Packers in the under in this one with plenty of turnovers. I think we'll. The only thing I am worried about are short fields, but that Green Bay Packer kicker stinks, so that may force them to have to go for 4th downs instead of taking points for the Packers. But I think this one could be like right at under that 47.5, and with the Packers getting the victory in Lambeau.
We will be live Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Stadium for the Jets on the road in Pittsburgh. A lot of people think this third game should have been the Sunday night game. They've met in the Super Bowl twice. The Chiefs have beaten the 49ers twice. I was there for one of them. And now the Chiefs, despite being 5-0, AB, they are dogs by 1.5 points. The 49ers, they come in 3-3. They've had some bad losses this year. They've had a lot of bad injuries, and CMC is out indefinitely. Tell me why the 49ers are the slight favorites here.
Great question. I don't know. Great question. Look, because I think this is the book saying, you know what? We're going to set this number and we're going to let the public decide where this thing can go. And I think the public doesn't know what to do either. Look, why would you bet against the Chiefs? Like, as stupid as that sounds, why would you bet against the Chiefs?
They're figuring out a way. They are figuring out a way. You give and they're 19-4, I believe, is the number the last 23 games coming off a bye week, Charles, and they're coming off a bye week. Andy Reid, for all of his game management issues, he is a phenomenal play caller, and he has adjusted. We saw it against the Saints, winning 26-13. I think we forget that the Chiefs now have a defense as well, Charles.
Yeah, this is a scary proposition for the 49ers, especially with the Chiefs coming off that bye week. But the way to take this one, just take 49ers first half and then take the Chiefs in the second half. And then I think we may actually see some points in this one. It's went down from 48 to 47, but I think this could be a sneaky over in this spot. So yeah, as far as who wins outright, I'll have a better feel come Sunday. But as of right now, I like that 49ers first half, and then I would look to take Chiefs second half.
We will have a full preview of this game at 10 a.m. on Sunday live as well. Mahomes, Lord says, over 20.5 rushing yards. Sounds good as the 49ers will try to get at Mahomes. He figures out a way to get out, usually late first half and late in the game. All right, Soupy is our resident fantasy expert at this time every single week here on Football Friday. He gives you the players that he would like to play and the players that he would avoid. Soupy, it's time for starts and sits. What do we got?
I'm starting with my boy Chubra Hubbard. He has been incredible. 20 fantasy points, averaging 20 fantasy points since Andy Dalton has become the quarterback. Washington, they give up the chunk plays at 19%. The next team, 15%. He's going to have a big yardage. And Cade Otton, averaging 7 targets over his last 4 games. In the Ravens, they've allowed the 5th most points to tight ends this season. He has a very, very safe floor. I don't know about the high ceiling, but I think he could have a finish maybe around just inside the top 10 this week. And we got to talk about our sits. Aaron Rodgers, great game last week. Absolutely his best fantasy performance. He's not getting that this week. The Steelers are an absolutely incredible defense. They are going to pressure him. That offensive line is just, it's not good. And even with Devontae Adams, I think he plays more of a decoy role this week. He'll get into the offense later on. And then my final sit, Travis Etienne. We already talked about his brother. Travis, he's starting to lose his role to Dearness Johnson and Tate Bigsby, and he's dealing with that hamstring issue. I don't want him in my fantasy lineup this week.
AB, when you look at these starts and sits, anything you don't agree with?
Not really. I completely agree with Travis Etienne. I mean, he's been the only one carrying this team and trying, and now he's banged up. There were, talks about him being traded. Why would you care as a running back? It doesn't matter. Like, this team stinks. And then you've got Aaron Rodgers and Freiermuth both on the sits, meaning, is that an underplay with the Jets and the Steelers?
Charles, is that an underplay?
Yeah, that's exactly how I would look at that, a lower scoring game. So, yeah, and I think that we're going to see points in that Tampa and Ravens. So, yeah, I love these spots for the Soup Man.
All right. So that is Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, primetime live. Devontae Adams says that he's going to play despite missing the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. He will play. Garrett Wilson on the other side. Also, there are a lot of fun things. There's all kinds of new companies out there and new ways to play fantasy. But I love what they're doing at Prize Picks. And my man Soupy works for Prize Picks. So I like giving out a play every single week that people can kind of try out something new. It's a little bit different. So, Soupy, what do we got this week?
Yeah, let's start with Baker Mayfield. He has been incredible. 8th in passing yards this season. And now he's going against a Ravens team that we've seen that have had to play some shootouts over the last couple of weeks. They are allowed the 2nd most passing yards, the most explosive pass plays, and they are 23rd in opponent drop pack efficiency. I'm gonna take AB's boy, Tony Pollard. It's just been an incredible run. I didn't think he was going to be the starter. I really thought it was Tajay Spears, but he's going to have a great game. Again, I just think he's going to have a great game. I'm sorry.
Are you doing all right over there? Are you all right over there, Soupy?
Throat's a little clogged right now. Try it. I'm sorry. And then let me go with Deontay Johnson, most targeted receiver in the league this year. Yeah, with Danny Dalton, he is great. Going against the Commanders that have allowed the 5th most receiving yards to wide receivers. He's having another big game today.
All right, very, very good. Play those more or less. Sometimes you see something, you go, man, why couldn't I have thought of that? Why couldn't I? I mean, I can figure out more or less. I can figure out a goblin. I can figure out a demon. Damn, I can do that. Shout out to Prize Picks. Shout out to Soupy for getting through that just now. Well done. All right, still to come. Oh, you guys have been waiting a full half hour. And you know what's coming? The leagues are back. Soccer is back. There's a lot of degenerates out there. You guys love your soccer betting. Well, guess what? Charles takes center stage on the other side of the second break of the hour. Also, we've got to dive into college football. Number 1 against number 5. Are you kidding me? We are live Friday morning on Stadium. All right, we continue on, and college basketball, they've already started practicing. The games are going to be starting very, very soon. We may need a 2-hour show every day, AB, but we're starting to see an epidemic, and you're our resident NIL expert. And yesterday, it was announced, and they're having a press conference today, I believe at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Tony Bennett is stepping down from Virginia. They've been a powerhouse really the last 10 years since he took over. He also coached at Washington State. And apparently the word going around is he's just sick and tired of all of the NIL stuff, of dealing with it. And at 55 years of age, he's done. Are you surprised?
Surprised for sure, because he's been, in the game for so long and he's been so good. Not surprised because of the NIL thing. Look, I am for NIL, but I'm also for the NCAA getting some legislation and regulation around NIL. And that's the problem. That's why Nick Saban's gone. That's why a lot of coaches are gone. And basketball's way worse than college football is. I mean, you've got freshmen that are leaving Duke as a starter. Why would you ever do that except for people put money in your pocket, right? So I don't blame him. It's the Wild West right now, and it's not what he's a sport purist, and it's the opposite of that.
Yeah, and his dad was too. His dad was a great coach also. And Soupy, I played college basketball. There's nothing I love more than college basketball. And when coaches are stepping down because they don't want to deal with an agent or a player walking in, and God forbid, can you imagine telling Coach K as a kid going, hey, if I don't get an extra $500,000, I'm out? And to give up millions of dollars in salaries, because it must be much worse than what we think.
The problem with the NCAA is with the transfer portal and the NIL, they just said, hey, here it is. Deal with it for a little while. And now they're like, oh, wait, we let you have too much freedom. Now we have to try to wrangle it in. And they're trying slowly, especially with the transfer portal. They're trying to implement things with the NIL, but they let it go on too long. And now these players nobody, especially the players, don't want to change it. So I see why a lot of these old school coaches are retiring.
All right, we are back on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, we have crossed the bottom of the hour. It is a beautiful Football Friday here on Stadium. Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, all the usual spots as we are now in month number 2, just rolling right along. We're going to be doing more and more. Also, if you miss us in the morning at 10 a.m., don't even fret. You can either watch on our YouTube page on demand, or we repeat right here on Stadium at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Now, we love our soccer here at DTL, and it's really become a worldwide sport, just like racing and Evans, all of that stuff. It's not just the United States. There are big leagues, and they've been off for a couple of weeks, but they are back this weekend. So is Big Chuck with his 5-pack of plays this weekend. Chuck, what do we got today?
EPL, Manchester United, Brentford. We're going to take Brentford to score a first-half goal. They've scored a first-half goal in 5 straight in 6 of 7 matches this season. Next, we'll go to the MLS.
Quick, Charles, tell me the day these are on as you're giving them to me, please.
I put them all for Saturday. That way we don't have too much movement. I saw that if I put them on Sunday, we were seeing a little too much movement, so I put them all for Saturday for us.
Fantastic.
So we're going to the MLS. This is actually the last day of the MLS. We're going with CF Montreal and NYCFC. We'll go ahead and roll with the over 3, with these clubs having accumulated 3 or more total goals in 14 of their last 20 combined games this season. Next, we're going to Serie Como, Parma, both teams to score in over 2.5. That's cashed in 9 of these 2 teams' last 10 combined league games. I could definitely see a 2-2 type of match here. Next, we'll go to La Liga, Celta Vigo and Real Madrid, the over 2.75 full-time goals. They've produced 3 or more total goals in 7 of the last 10. I also like the both teams to score in the over 2.5, but this was just a little bit safer in case only one team scores 3 or more goals. And then lastly, Bundesliga, Leverkusen, Frankfurt. This is another, both teams are scoring over 2.5. That is cash in 6 of their last 8 meetings. I just think we'll see a shootout. And getting at this price for these two teams when it's at a 3.5 already, I think just great value.
And that last one, if you're new to soccer betting, that's actually one bet. Usually go down to the bottom of the game, all the selections, and they put it together, and it brings the number down because you got to get to 3 goals. So it's a really smart play. If you think it's going to be a shootout, if you think both teams are going to score, that's what you do. And Leverkusen and Frankfurt, they have just been goal machines this year, so I like that. Are you not worried about the health of Kylian Mbappe with Real Madrid? He's been fighting that hamstring just a little bit.
No, because they still have Vinny Jr., so they still have plenty of firepower. And then I think that Celta Vigo can contribute also. They normally do when they get together, especially playing on Vigo's home ground. So, I could see a 1-2, 2-1 at worst. But, yeah, Mbappe being out always is worrisome, but I think they have enough slack. And plus, with him out, it kind of flows better. I think they may even have a better rhythm with him out, as crazy as that seems.
All right, very good. Chuck, thank you very much. That are the 5-pack that we have every single Friday from 5 different leagues around the world on the pitch. Elliot, thank you very much for having my back. You're damn right. I was a 2-time player of the year. I could get after it, almost 1,800 career points. Do I need to tout myself? Damn it. Now, that was college. And I absolutely love the college football slate this weekend. AB, I'm going to start with you because it's rare. And when Texas and Oklahoma made the decision to go to the SEC, I was like, oh, really? But now we're getting these bangers every single week. It seems like yours is back. Manning is now the best backup in all of college football. It's crazy they have those two guys. And they're laying 5 at home against Georgia, coming off a beatdown of OU. That total sitting at 57. And I got to tell you, AB, Georgia has not been the juggernaut that they've been the last 3 or 4 years. I think they're very, very vulnerable right now, especially to the number 1 Longhorns.
Oh, Georgia's very vulnerable. Now, look, Hosses.
Oh, my God.
It's a Hoss weekend here in college football. Understand this. This is a trap game for Texas. You want to know why? Because they're looking ahead to Vanderbilt, baby. That's what they're looking ahead to. They ain't worried about Georgia. Look, Carson Beck and this Georgia offense could score. They could also turn the ball over 8 trillion times. Texas, if they just come out balanced, play their game, they should be able to handle Georgia. It's going to be a fun one. Don't get me wrong. But Texas, if they do their thing, I mean, good luck. The best team in college football.
I know AB's trying to be funny, but Vanderbilt, they just had one of the biggest wins in the history of their program. They have a quarterback who's an animal. He's a dog. So it may not be that far-fetched to be that they might be looking forward to Vanderbilt next week. But Georgia needs a get-right spot. They barely beat Kentucky. You know what happened against Alabama. They gave up 40. They almost had the greatest comeback in the history of that rivalry. So their defense is not as good as it has been, and their offense, quite frankly, is not as good as it has been. They're lucky to be number 5 right now.
Carson Beck is just not being Carson Beck. He has 5 interceptions so far this year. That's just 1 off from his total last year. And Trevor Etienne, he's not being the guy who we thought he was going to be when he came over from Florida. They need to have that balanced offense because every test that Texas has had, they have accomplished it. They went to the big house in Michigan and they crushed them. Everyone said, oh, it's still Texas, Oklahoma. Oklahoma stay competitive. No, that game was done at halftime. Texas is the best team in the nation, and I think they prove it this weekend.
And now that we've got 12 teams, Charles, style points, all of a sudden, they matter. How you look matters because you have some teams that will have buys. Other teams will have to play that first round, but there's home games now. So even though you're undefeated, Texas cannot look at this and say, well, wait a second, we're automatically going to get that bye. What if we lose a couple down the road? So style points, I believe, are why Texas, as a show, we're on Texas -5. I think they roll. What do you think?
I would have to agree, and I think this would be a position to get style points because I definitely like the over in this one. So I think if they're going to rack up some points, this would be a spot. And they would ever say even a year ago, even to start the season, Georgia would be a dog to anybody. I can't remember the last time we saw that, especially catching 5. It was at 3.5 earlier this week, so we're up to 5. But yeah, I definitely think that Texas is going to put up some points. Georgia should put up some points also, but I love the over too to go ahead and see a shootout for us today in this SEC matchup.
Line of the day from Elliot in the chat. AB looks like Tweeter from Varsity Blues. If you remember, you kind of do, AB. He always wore the hat all the way down like that. Everybody loved him. You kind of do.
You know what? I had a couple of concussions playing high school football as well. All right, so we're good to go. Never got to go to the dance club with a teacher. Didn't ever get to do that one, but yeah, you know.
It's one of my favorite moves of all time. And unfortunately, it's probably real in a lot of Texas high schools back in the day as well. All right, let's move down to game number 2. And I got to tell you, Alabama and Georgia, and we've known that all these teams are going to beat each other up, which is why ultimately I think we're going to have a super conference. That's why the SEC is the best conference. And I still believe we could see a 3-loss team make it to the playoffs this year. This is a big one, AB, for Alabama against the team that you know better than anybody, number 11, Tennessee. However, Alabama is favored on the road in Knoxville. Why?
Well, because they're playing a little bit better. However, both of these teams, and let me do the tweeter. Right that. All right, look, both of these teams are facing the same problem. Their coaches are playing not to lose instead of being aggressive and going after it. All right, Tennessee and Alabama. Look, Alabama last week literally was drilled down to Jalen Milroe just running. That's it. And Tennessee 2 weeks ago was drilled down to wide receiver screen, A-gap run. Wide receiver screen, A-gap run. That was it, right? This is a battle of which coach is just going to let their offense get after it. Tennessee's the better team. However, Alabama's Alabama. So this is going to be an awesome atmosphere in Knoxville. You're going to see it 3:30 Eastern, right on that, midday spot on ABC. It's going to be a war. And let me tell you this. My old man planned, like, my birthday is on this game every year, right? Literally, the third Saturday in October means something in both of these states. I'm telling you, man, like, I wasn't going like birthday alert, dude. I'm just saying, like, it is a game that no matter how these conferences change, this game doesn't move on the calendar. It is the third Saturday in October, and that's how you get down. It's going to be a war, man.
Shout out to Kevin. He says, hats, props, AB has it all. Now, Charles, let me come over to you. Because when you really break down the season for Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama team, they lose to Vanderbilt. They damn near lose to Georgia at home after being up 28-0. They were trying to give the game away to South Carolina last week. They are a team that just hasn't played dominant, nor have they had dominant wins, but yet on the road, Tennessee's got the best athlete in the country playing quarterback for them right now. Let's let him loose.
Yeah, it's crazy because this Alabama line started like at 1.5. Now we're up to 3, and so Tennessee's catching 3 at home. So that's almost an automatic spot to take the Vols. Plus, that's 57. Most things we'll see a shootout, but I think we may see more of a defensive battle. Really, it's a correlation. If it's Alabama needs a lower scoring game, if this one gets high scoring, it's definitely going to favor Tennessee. So that's the way I would look at it, especially if it gets later in the game and it's live. That's may be a way you want to take a look at that. But that's crazy that Tennessee's catching 3 at home. That's really eye-opening to me.
We'll keep an eye on this one live Saturday afternoon. And quickly, let's go to that last game, Soupy. And Indiana might be the best kept secret in all of college football. We have cashed on them, it seems like, every single week. They've got a head coach that literally has been quoted every week. The quote of the century. I just win. Google me. Are you kidding me right now? And they backed it up. And now in the Big Ten talk, they're in that discussion with Ohio State, with an Oregon, ahead of Michigan. But yet, they're favored by only 6.5 this week against Nebraska.
That's why I think they win and they cover easily. Is DJ in the chat now? He has to be. We're talking about Indiana. They are. They're one of the best surprises in the Big Ten. They can compete with anybody. And I did like Nebraska at the beginning of the year. The defense is still great. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, but I still think Indiana is good enough to win and cover. I don't mind that 6.5 at all.
AB, I got about 15 seconds on this one for you.
Indiana has been on a roll, man. Look, I love what Nebraska's doing. I love Matt Rule and their coaching staff. But Indiana is Indiana for a reason, dude. Like the DG's been all over it. Spot on. This team just shows up and wins, man.
And they show up early. We've been cashing first quarter plays, team total plays, first half plays, full game plays. This team comes ready to play every single time. And he said when they go to the West Coast also, they like to go as late as possible, get up, eat. He says, kick their ass, and then go. I love this dude. I absolutely love this dude. What a good, fast morning here on Football Friday. We still have plenty more to come. Looking ahead to Sunday night. It's DTL in the morning, live on Stadium. All right, we continue on a big weekend in the NFL, and the MVP talk every year, AB, kind of starts up for real around this time of the year. And everybody's talking about how Lamar Jackson is now playing, that he could win his third. But he says, hold the phone for a second. He doesn't like the MVP hype and talk for obvious reasons, but is he the MVP frontrunner right now in your mind?
Man, that's tough. No, but yeah, like I don't know if we can answer that question. Like he didn't start the best, but
no,
it's a full season. Like I'll say this: it's hard for me to answer it. Who is the MVP? Right? Jordan Love and Patrick Mahomes are at the top of the list of interceptions, and they've played phenomenal. It would be hard for me not to give it to Mahomes. That's a tough question.
No, it might be the first time, Soupy, all maybe ever, that you give it to a guy with numbers that aren't that great in Patrick, because he's figuring out a way to win, and that's what a most valuable player is.
Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, those would be the guys, if we had the conversation, I would put into it. Lamar Jackson is having the best numbers over the last couple of weeks. And I feel like with MVP conversations, people sort of forget that struggle at the beginning of the year. They kind of go with how you finish. That's why we have to say right now, I would lean towards Lamar Jackson, but we have to see how the final 5 games go to really determine that.
I think that's a good point. That's how voters, because they're human, Charles, that's how they normally, it's a recency bias. Where would you be right now? I would say Goff or Mahomes for me.
Yeah, Mahomes, I mean, MVP is most valuable to the team, and he has less right now with everybody going down injured, and he's still managing to pull out victories for his team. So, yeah, right now, yeah, give me old Patty Mahomes.
Shout out to John, AB. He says, I'm loving my plus 6,000 Jordan Love MVP ticket right now.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Jordan Love's playing phenomenal. Like, it's hard for me to say no to him, man. Jordan Love is that dude.
This dude is the truth. This division is, I mean, you got Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold. Any of those 4 could be in the conversation. What a division they are this year. All right, we are back on Stadium Live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is DTL Live on Stadium, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime, Stadium app. Having a great Friday. 4 more football games tonight. Also, 2 big games in the NLCS and the ALCS. So you got tons of sports to start your weekend. And then, of course, Saturday is chock full of a bunch of college football. Also, do not forget, you guys know I'm part of the PFL. Our first Super Fight pay-per-view is Saturday in Saudi Arabia. I told the bosses, I'm not going to Saudi. No, you guys go do it. I'll do it from right here in the friendly confines. So you can check me out on the pay-per-view on ESPN Plus on Saturday afternoon. Now, Sunday night, AB, DTL Primetime Live is our next game. And this one has so many storylines. But right now, it's the quarterbacks that are taking center stage. The Jets, after really kind of giving one away, they couldn't make a field goal, tons of penalties last week at home against the Bills. They are the favorites this week, laying 2. Total sitting at 39. Justin Fields came out and said, hey, there wouldn't be a controversy on our side of the fence if I would be playing better. I don't like a quarterback to have that kind of confidence, but maybe it's respect, as both he and Russell Wilson have taken snaps with the first team. So, AB, let's start with this one. Do you think we see Big Russ starting for the Steelers?
Russ is going to get some time, and I'll tell you this. I actually love that attitude from Justin Fields. He's saying, you know what? Okay. It's on me. I need to be better, and I'm going to be better. And I think Mike Tomlin is using all of this as motivation. But he's also saying, you know what? We might need Russ later in the season, so we need to get him some reps as well. I think Mike Tomlin is handling this perfectly. And at halftime last night on Westwood One Radio, he said, fellas, he told them, we're not in the entitlement business. I could be fired tomorrow. You could be fired tomorrow. We all could be fired tomorrow. How about we just show up and kick a little ass? Mike Tomlin wins for a reason. I love this dude, man.
I probably need to clarify, AB, because Matty Ice says, I love it too from Fields. Take accountability. What I didn't like is he didn't end, because when you're a quarterback in the NFL and you lose your job, a lot of times you don't get it back. And there's only 32 of these. What I would have liked to him have said is, listen, I need to play better. That's why we're even talking about this. But this is my job. I want this job. I'm going to play better, and I'm going to keep it. I would have loved that. But so that's my clarification.
I got you. Yeah. No,
you
make sense. Yeah, I got you for sure.
Soupy, let me come over to you, because the Jets, it just shocked me that the timing of it all. And sometimes it's about getting the deal done. But we found out that Davante Adams was on a red-eye flight Monday night, and I'm shocked nobody on the plane from Vegas snapped him or anything. As the Jets were losing, why couldn't you get the deal done the Thursday before? Why couldn't you get it done the Wednesday before? So he takes a red eye, they lose, and then it's announced on Tuesday morning that he would now be a Jet. He's missed 3 games in a row. Hamstring, which is one of the hardest things for a wide receiver to come back from. He says he's going to play. How effective do we think he can be? And is it enough to have the Jets be a 2-point favorite?
I wouldn't be surprised. You know that meme with Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, and he's hobbling, and then all of a sudden he just rolls and tumbles and jumps. I have a feeling that could be Davante Adams this week. I think that hamstring might be a little healthy, but he still needs to get used to this offense. So I think he's going to – I mentioned he's going to play more of a decoy. I still think it's going to be all Garrett Wilson, all Breece Hall, and Braylon Edwards. So even Mike Williams, because Mike Williams might get traded. They might want to, raise his stock a little bit. It's all going to come down to these defenses. Both defenses put pressure on the offensive line, and both these offensive lines are not that good. 39 is always a tough total to take, but I will take the under. We've already seen the Jets play a 10-9 game, where I think we can see another low-scoring game from them.
I think we need to remember, Charles, that the Steelers are 4-2. They're a first-place team. They're tied for first place. Normally, you never see talk like this for a first-place team. But I also think they're looking at the Ravens and saying they're starting to catch fire. We can't even give one game away with Justin Fields. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, this game totally has me just confused because, you have a team that's winning, they're 4-2, and this to take Justin Fields out after watching what Buffalo did, being able to run against this Jets defense that struggles against the run. So I just think the timing is kind of awkward. I understand that Russell Wilson is back and healthy, and I guess they had promised it to him when he came back, but he still has to get back in rhythm with the players. He hadn't played at all a snap this season, so I'm sure he's going to be rusty when you have a quarterback that's already played 6 games. So it's all very confusing to me. I'd love the Steelers with Justin Fields. Now I have to kind of relook it, and maybe Jets and under. It probably would be the spot that I would lean towards. Well, Sunday I'll have a better feel for sure.
All right. Again, we are live Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, breaking down all the 1 o'clock games, breaking down all the 4 o'clock games as well. Now, I know a lot of you were not here at 10 a.m. We understand how it works. You got jobs, you got things to do, you're running errands. We appreciate even coming in for a little bit, but we always take care of everybody in a little section at the end of the show we like to call the whip around. And Zach says the Adams touchdown will be the most bet prop on Sunday. Zach, you're probably right, because that's how most people love to bet. Right here, not necessarily right here. All right, AB, start us off. What are your plays today?
2 plays tonight. Dodgers Mets over 7. Like I said, if you can only get 7.5, I'll ride that with you. Take that. Going to get to 8 or more. Fresno State, Nevada over 49.5. That should be a game featuring lots of scoring from both sides. And shout out to Taco Bell. You saw the commercial with Davante Adams having a Taco Bell in his house. Taco Bell yesterday on Twitter put up a house for sale.
Did they really?
Yeah, go check out Taco. I quote tweeted it. Go check out Taco Bell's Twitter. They literally put the house up for sale and listed it with comes with 6 mild sauce rooms. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. AB, I see their headquarters are about 6 miles from my house. I see it all the time out here in Orange County. I swear to God, I see it all the time. That's hilarious. Hilarious. Soupy, what do we got?
Fantasy picks provided by Taco Bell, hopefully. Texas, they are the most balanced team in the nation. Georgia has some problems. They can't run the ball. The secondary gives up a lot of yards. I just think Texas wins this game and covers -5. Miami, Louisville, watch for the explosive plays. Both teams are going to take shots. And the first half, they both give up the explosive plays. I'm going over 29.5 in the first half.
I love when people call me out as if I'm talking directly to you, AB. Liddy says, Coach, you don't think AB knows that? I'm not always talking to AB, Liddy. I'm talking to the universe. The universe. Oh, my goodness. Get out of the YouTube world. Let's go. All right. I like Duke money line, -148. I'm taking the points out of it. Duke is good. They've only lost once. Florida State stinks. Both away games this year, they have lost. I love Duke tonight on the money line. And then Oregon coming off that big win against Ohio State. They're playing Purdue. Team total over 44.5. They roll. Purdue has given up over 50 three times this season already. So I think Oregon rolls tonight as they continue their assault and their race to the playoffs. Quickly, the 5-pack is what, Charles?
EPL, Man United, Brentford. Brentford, first half team total over half a goal. They've scored the first half goal in 5 straight. MLS, CF Montreal, NYCFC over 3 full-time goals. Serie both teams to score in over 2.5. Como and Parma. La Liga, Celta Vigo, Real Madrid over 2.75 full-time goals. Lastly, Bundesliga, Leverkusen, Frankfurt, both teams to score in over 2.5, which is cash in 6 of their last 8 meetings.
And all of those games are on Saturday. AB, last thing, Japan says Purdue on the money line is plus 1,800 tonight. Worth a sprinkle?
I mean, look, Oregon's coming off a big win, man. This is usually when you see that letdown, but plus 28 is a big number.
Ooh. 15 seconds, Soupy. Your thoughts heading into a big fantasy weekend?
A lot of points are going to be scored. I think there's a lot of potential games that are going to be going over. So take all your stars and put them in.
All right. Liddy, I love you too, buddy. I'm just messing with you. I love to play. All right, guys, let's have a great week, and we'll see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And understand this. I need my one shot. Thank you very much. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love them all. My man AB, Big Chuck from the Dirty Soupy, best beard in the game, producer man, always behind the scenes making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day, live on Stadium at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Good luck and have a great weekend.